My season programming, I try always to reflect what we're trying to accomplish artistically over many, many seasons. The artistic progress of the ensemble is something that doesn't happen overnight. It's something that comes through a lot of hard work together. It comes through programming that both challenges, in a good way, challenges and stretches not only the singers, but challenges and stretches our audiences. So I'm really focused on making sure, as I have said many, many times, that we are still performing the great masterpieces. It's incredibly important, especially now, because we used to be able to take for granted that you could, as a young person, for example, in some high school chorus or other place of that nature, you could experience a bit of Elijah, or you could experience a bit of Messiah, or you could experience a bit of the Creation, or the Mozart Requiem, or something like that. That's not so often the case any longer. I think it's important for us to continue to make sure that audiences have the opportunity to hear these works live. They were meant to be heard live. Recordings are wonderful, but it's important to present them live. There's something about live performance that just simply, the way it touches you, the way it communicates to you, that cannot be replicated by even the most fantastic recording. So we want to make sure that we're always performing those great masterpieces that are part of our common heritage. In addition to that, we want to be performing as much of the newer repertory as possible. And I don't just mean pieces written the day before yesterday. That's important too, supporting composers, making sure that we're feeding the generation of creative musicians that are coming forward, but that we're also looking at the more recent past. For instance, within the last 100 or so years, there's an enormous amount of, particularly, let's just even talk American repertory, of the last, say, 100 years, which is not that often performed. I mean, orchestras have the same problem. The great symphonies of the mid-20th century by American composers are not so often performed, and they're in many ways really unfortunately neglected. There's an enormous amount of American choral music from that same period that just simply is not done. It's either something that's 200 years old or something that's day before yesterday, but that period in between, not everyone is particularly interested in. I'm interested in that, and I want to make sure that we have an incredible breadth of programming of contemporary music, that it's not just simply about the most cutting edge thing. And then finally, in addition to that, I want us to be able to explore ways of presenting our concerts to our audience that are reflective of, let's just say, more contemporary experience. The idea that you don't always have to perform in a concert hall, or you don't always have to perform in a church. Some works simply don't work in either of those venues. There are some works that you lose some inherent quality. There are works that could have collaborative possibilities with other art forms, whether it's visual arts or dance or theater or any number of other collaborative arts that would not work in a concert hall or in a church. And therefore, one needs to be thinking about other venues to present these works in a creative way. That opens up new possibilities. I'm very interested in making sure that we're always looking forward to ways to present music to our audiences so that they feel that there's something fresh about the experience. And not just fresh for fresh sake, but when it makes sense, when the piece really wants it or needs it, to find the right venue or the right collaborative art form to go with us. Even if that wasn't necessarily the way the piece was conceived initially.